父がいるウルトラの母がいるそして太郎がここにいる空を見ろ星を見ろ宇宙を見ろ彼方から迫り来る赤い色
Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q, episode 89. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
The world's affairs rush on an endless stream. A sky-told fate, infinite reach dooms all. The kingdoms three are now the stuff of a dream, for men to ponder, past all praise or blame.
Yeah, so true, bestie.
Yeah.
Also joined by Brad.
Casually doxes you.
Also, 2 days from the time of recording, second anniversary.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to spoil this anniversary moment with doxes you casually. It has like GG energy.
We're very smart and like perfectly timing the anniversary of our podcast to be around the same weekend that Modern Ultraman shows end.
Mm-hmm. We're quite good at this.
But yeah, 2 years. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's kind of wild. It feels like I've been doing this forever, and also it's been a really short amount of time.
Yeah,
same.
It's weird. We're still in the 70s.
We're still in the 70s.
They made a
it's
lot.
Where I like.
Listen,
it's where
they made a lot of Ultraman.
This like
it's,
completely
the 70s
different from
is where
Gundam
I want to
in the
be.
80s.
True. I mean, to be fair, the first Gundam got made in '79. It would be hard to make more.
Well, I just meant like you got in the 80s you only got 2 seasons in a movie, and then I guess some OVAs.
All right. True. So coming up, we have got 3 episodes about Japanese nursery rhymes. Songs. That's the coming up.
Yeah, it's the Japanese nursery rhyme series or something.
Yeah. They love to do these.
Yeah.
Before we get to any of that, do we have anything of note that we want to talk about? I suspect from that little bit Mel did that she finished something.
Yeah, I got a couple. I guess I got 2 things quick, more or less. I mean, I finished Burning Chrome, but Brad said he didn't off mic, so we're not going to do that yet.
2 more stories. I'm almost done.
So first off, briefly, I there was a movie on my hard drive that I had for a while. I was like, well, I should get to this at some point. And then events transpired this past week, which made me go, oh, I should watch this today. Which is to say, I watched Blue Velvet because David Lynch passed away.
He did.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I think I've had that movie on my hard drive. Well, I mean, Blu-ray shelf. Officer.
Yeah.
For a while, like for a couple of years now, because I think I got it like maybe not too long after I saw Twin Peaks, which I guess it was a couple of years ago now. But I just never got around to it. But him passing, I was like, well, I should do this tonight because if not now, then when.
I did the same thing with Eraserhead. Although I've seen Eraserhead before,
yeah.
But I'm like, now's the time to go through all his stuff one last time, I think.
Yeah. So far, all of his stuff I've seen, I've only really seen Twin Peaks, like all of it, and also Mulholland Drive. But But yeah, so Blue Velvet, pretty neat. It's about like Kyle MacLachlan getting called back home to run the family business, and then he finds an ear and decides he really wants to get deep into this more than he should. And it's a thriller, suspenseful. So the seedy underbelly of suburbia, which Lynch likes. Haven't you seen Blue Velvet before, by the way? Or
Yes, I've seen it.
I have no.
Yeah,
I have not.
But yeah, it's basically just like Kyle MacLachlan feels like he's playing the role of like a really average kind of guy who's just like, adventure to his like mortal peril in a way, because he gets like there's like crimes involved. He's two-timing like both a high schooler and like an older woman who's like a singer, and gets wrapped up in like some criminal gangs involved with like a kidnapping of the singer's family, played by Dennis Hopper. Definitely some really charged scenes, like sexual assault here. So it can be tough to watch, but it does feel like it is a very straight line from here to Twin Peaks. I can see it. I think it's interesting. I feel like the movie feels like it wraps up cleaner than I expected, but also like I saw someone like listen to some analysis after the fact that was like, well, actually, it's not. That's like a surface level reading of it, where it seems like, oh, the idyllic life restored, but really it's like more of a facade there. I think the performances are pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't have the language to really talk about it too much, but also, I don't want to. We also have episode arcs. I don't need to necessarily go into it too much. Just, glad I watched it. Good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And,
I've still basically never watched a Lynch thing ever. So,
The only thing I have left, like, outside of, like, some of his more niche, like, really small circuit film, like, showing stuff, is The Return, and it's just something I've never, like, I watched a few episodes of, but I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna save this for a rainy day. I'm not typically that type of person that's like, oh, I don't want to finish this long thing that I love because I don't want to say goodbye, but, like, I kind of think I have that with Twin Peaks The Return, where I'm just like, I'll get to this when I'm ready for the closure, and after the news came out about his passing, I'm like, maybe it's time I wrap up that little last bit of Lynch that I need to watch. So I think I'm going to get to that
Twin
soon.
Peaks The Return is
season 3.
You're recommending for for when you're stuck at home on a rainy day. That's when you watch that. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
I'll make a note of that.
When you're stuck at home,
close to death's door. No,
stuck at home on a rainy day, close to the death date of the creator.
Yes. No, the day he passed, I was just like, I think it's time I go back through his stuff, and I watched Eraserhead, and I think this time around his stuff, I'm going to be thinking a lot about not so much his style, but the man, because in so many ways, his overwhelming body of work is about, I don't know if I want to say the darkness of suburbia, but just in a lot of ways, how kind of like what you said. Yeah, like how small town politeness masks like so much darkness and evil in the world. And this time through watching Eraserhead, I was just like, man, what? I don't know what this guy's life was like that he felt the need to like re-explore this stuff over and over again. But watching Eraserhead this time around, I'm like, I hope he found his peace before he went. With a lot of these ideas, because his stuff gets rough, but I also think it speaks to my personal experience with some of the most harrowing moments of my life in an emotional way that I don't think a lot of other creators have ever rubbed up against. So,
yeah.
Fire Walk with Me is maybe the best movie I've ever seen as a survivor of an abusive household, to what it feels like to be a teenager living in an abusive household.
I think
very powerful stuff.
Of the 3 movies by him I've seen, I still think Fire Walk with Me is my favorite.
It's amazing.
It's also like it's tricky to just recommend just because it is like you should watch the Twin Peaks season 1 and 2 first because it's the Twin Peaks movie.
It's just also very troubling too, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
it's not something I
That's
casually recommend to a lot
even
of people,
beyond like
'cause it's
the trigger warnings, because like there's also just like the like horrors and abuse faced by women in his works. And like including Blue Velvet, which has like a really troubling like rape scene on screen. So not to mention like all sorts of weird like a lot of complicated things happening that can be hard to watch, but yeah, I'm glad I got around to watching it finally.
Nice.
And also, the Empire Long Divided must unite. I finished Romance of the Kingdoms.
Yeah, it'll be united for a really long time, I think.
Yeah. That's definitely what happens in history, from what I read.
Yeah.
Something about the 8 princes probably makes things really stable.
I mean, there's 8 more princes. That can't be, you got 1 prince, that's good. 2 princes, that's probably even better.
Yeah.
8 princes?
Let me tell you, I think Liu Bei should have chosen some other princes.
Yeah. I think Kong Ming should have chosen another general. So how's Jiang Wei?
He's really funny. What a fucking loser.
Jiang Wei is the biggest loser that's ever lived.
He's just like, I'm gonna waste all resources, gonna keep on go back for more Wei, and it's just like, well, no. But also, he's like one final play. I was like, well, don't worry, I'll restore it. And no, it's not lost. And then it's like, oh, actually, it is all lost.
My man does not have it.
A lot of things that happen, like I thought would happen earlier in the book, didn't.
There's a lot of compression towards basically the bit that the author considers interesting and valuable wraps up, and then he's like, and then there's like another like 100 years of history or whatever. Who fucking cares?
Then I saw like some of the footnotes, like the commentary is like, well, for history/narrative reasons, it is important the kingdom does unite, but also it's clear that this is not what the thing is that's important to people, or at least the author.
Yeah, I mean the kind of like overwhelming sadness of the book is like the idea. It's like a Han romanticist being like, well, the Han dynasty was like a period of truly unprecedented stability. Like this one dynasty lasted for so long. What the fuck? How did that happen? And then looking at the fall of it and how, it's like framing it as this like truly like even the best of people, quote unquote, the best of people could not save it. And it's like, this kind of sad, and then being like, oh, and then it's united by this other guy, and like the history of how soon that falls apart goes left unsaid. It doesn't need saying.
And like, I think if you're reading it in the West without the context of the history, it is just like, oh, okay, the Empire was united, but everything is made more like funny, knowing like
it's like a generation. It's like they get like what 20 years or something.
Yeah, and like technically the dynasty does last for a while, but not with all of China.
Yeah. Let me. I need to look this. I need to get how many years.
It is also funny.
I remember it's a really funny amount of years.
It is also really funny. It's like, oh, well, technically none of the 3 kingdoms won.
Yes,
kind of.
I mean that it's kind of funny because that's kind of the ending you'd write if you were writing fiction.
But it happened in real life.
Which 3 Kingdoms is already half fiction, but it's cool. It's cool that it's like.
It's cool that they could have that narrative arc with Jin, just be like, oh, history repeats poetically. That feels like it's too perfect.
Cao's the arc of the Cao line is like so good.
Yeah, a lot of the story is just like they have one really good guy for a while, and then they have to deal with a hereditary system where their children don't have it.
They are not in, you know, they are not the greatest heroes of the age.
Yeah, they just inherited it.
Let me have a look at this. Where's the... Okay, so... I'm looking at the Jin dynasty. It goes... Establishment, reunification of China proper, 280. They get like 40 years until shit goes south? Or is it like 30 something? It's like 30 something years,
now,
and then
to
shit
be
goes
fair,
bad.
40 years is about as long as...
Oh no. Hang on. It's way worse than that. It's like 10 years. It's like 10 years after they unify all of China because it's like reunification of China proper is given as 280. War of the Eight Princes start at 291. It's rough, buddy.
Oh.
I did it.
No.
I'm king of the hill.
Oh, man.
I'm at the top of the ladder in the ladder match.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it is just weird history, like, because it's just like, oh, we're rotating guys in and out now, because like twice in the last stretch of the book you get a paragraph where in the middle of it goes, and 10 years passed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like the establishment of Jin is in like the final chapter, but the penultimate chapter. I was like, really? I thought it'd be sooner. Even though it's, you know, it was basically de facto in place for a long time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it's just like, and then like, you know, there's a significant time difference between when Shu is conquered versus when Wu is conquered, and then like they compress all of that into the last chapter.
The Wu, if I remember correctly, I don't know how much of this is like reflective of any real history, but it really felt like they were inventing a guy to justify why it was okay to conquer Wu, when they had like the most recent Wu emperor and how much he sucks.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of. I think that's a lot. To some degree, that's a lot of the book where it's like,
yeah.
There's twisting of who the characters are to fit a certain narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, making Zhou Yu a cartoon villain and giving Kong Ming all the credit for things he actually did in history.
Zhou Yu's so cool.
Yeah, I learned that in Red Cliff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be cool when you're played by that guy. Whose name escapes me right now. He's in loads of John Woo movies.
Tommy
what the fuck
something.
is his name? He's the really hot guy from... He's in the fucking In the Mood for Love.
Okay.
What the fuck is this man's name? Tony Leung. Oh,
it's Tony.
Thank God. Yeah, Big Tony. That's what I call him.
Yeah.
Because he's my mate. Yeah. He lets me call him Tony.
How lost are you, Brad?
Fairly. I'll understand someday.
Yeah. Well, you got to do the research for when we do the Three Kingdoms Toku show. Years ago I watched like 6 episodes of that and was so confused, but now I'll be able to watch it when we get to it.
Yeah.
And
you
I'll
can play Dynasty Warriors now.
Yeah, I downloaded Dynasty Warriors too.
Nice.
And the Origins demo.
People be liking the Origins.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of hype for that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I would really
What do they mean by Origins? What do they mean?
I think they just, you know how game titles are.
I know how. Yeah,
they just didn't want to call it.
It just
10.
is what it is.
Yeah, I guess
They didn't want to call it 10 after the 9 debacle.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it.
Fair play.
But yeah, I do legitimately would look forward to eventually doing the Three Kingdoms Toku show and actually knowing who the characters are referenced.
Yeah.
But that might be that'll probably be for a while. Won't be for a while, so we'll figure it out one day.
All right.
But yeah, Three Kingdoms is done. I don't have to. It took me 2.5 years. I was like,
It's pretty good.
How long did it take me? And then I looked up when your boy Kongming aired. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like seeing the number
I don't like
2022.
Lol.
I thought
you mean 3 years ago?
It was May 2022, so it's 2.5.
We'll make that 3 very soon.
Yeah, 3 years ago when I'd Hokuto Shotek.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he eternally joined TAC 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Anything more?
No, that was me this week.
I guess I can
Alright.
half mention this because I really don't have anything to say about it, but continuing our Sonic movie watch through, my friend group decided to watch Sonic 2, and I think my friend Marie said it best when she said, I didn't really expect anything, but I was somehow still disappointed.
Lamau.
That movie's kind of whatever. Like, the first one's like a fun, like, dumb little, like, E.T. family movie that happens to also be about Sonic. Sonic 2, they, like, leaned in somehow both on introducing more game stuff, but like they add Knuckles as like the big antagonist, but I think their take on Knuckles is honestly really boring. I think Idris Elba himself pretty good job, but just he's like, I'm the proud dumb warrior guy, and it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, I do think like the weakest version of Knuckles is just like dumb guy and not like he's just gullible. I think that's more his thing in the games.
Yeah. And also they have way too much, the human family is up to wacky shenanigans with the government, and it's not funny.
Not
and it takes up so much of the movie towards the middle part. Excited for 3 though. Everyone seems to like 3 a lot. So
3 is good. Like I enjoyed 2 well enough, but I do think Our Reflection is the weaker one.
Yeah. I'll see it eventually when it's on streaming. It is not yet.
Apparently it's soon, which makes me feel weird. Like that movie just came out. What the fuck's wrong with you?
That's just how movies are now. They're just like out, which like makes sense. But
this is weird.
Yeah, that's all I had. Other than like I said, I watched Eraserhead, and still a good movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm watching stuff. I'm playing Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I'm up to like one if I watch like one episode a day, I will be watching the final wonderful Precure episode on the day it airs.
Nice.
So looking forward to that.
Spoiler cast.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun show. I quite like that. I quite like that anime.
I need to watch last in this week's episode, and I'll be caught up for that.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else. In which case, in record time,
just what we wanted.
We can talk about fucking Ultraman Taro.
Ultraman number 6.
3 episodes that... Oh, is that sorry?
Ultraman number 6.
Ultraman number 6. True.
Don't you mean
first
Dan?
episode.
The 6th Ultra Brother?
No. he got lost after he went skiing.
You know what? Sometimes children go away.
Let me tell you about episode 45 from a Japanese nursery song featuring Scale Kaiju Memorial and Alien Dozu.
Incomplete title.
Is it?
From a Japanese nursery rhyme. She wore red shoes.
Yeah.
Let me open my fucking episode right now.
Unfortunately,
This will explain. I was so confused.
Yeah. This is a issue with the way they did the subtitles for this.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Can I tell? I had a bit going. I had episode 45 from a Japanese nursery song, and I had episode 46 from a Japanese nursery, and episode 47 from a Japanese guys.
Yeah.
I was like, you can't call an episode that 3 times in a row, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like, it's a 2-part title. because it's like the winter horror series. etc.
What's the second part of this episode's title?
She wore red shoes.
Okay, I'm going to need help with the other two episodes.
Don't worry, I
got
them.
Nice. Featuring Scale Kaiju Memorial. I hate this kaiju's name. Memorial and Alien Dorzu. Kirajima encounters a scene out of memory. A girl with red shoes carried away by a stranger. He picks up a dropped shoe and it says Marie inside. He remembers Marie, a childhood friend taken away by a stranger in the same way. What a weird coincidence. The next day, Marie, all grown up, knocks on Kitajima's door. They have such a great time catching up, and then it suddenly occurs to Kitajima that he's super late for work. As he runs off in a hurry, Marie is revealed to be working for the alien Dorzu. They have an empire. She needs to infiltrate Zat base before her time runs out and she turns into a kaiju. The next day, Kitajima is like, yo, I'm going to show you around the base. And everyone at the base is like, what? No, are you stupid? She could be an infiltrator. Look at this graph. And Kitajima's like, I will not look at... He threatens to quit, insisting he believes in human trust over a graph. The rest of the team wants to trust Kitajima's judgment, and they agree to let Marie in, at which point she runs off in tears, guilty over manipulating such stupid, trusting people. Kitajima catches up with Marie, and she reveals that the graph was true. She's turning into a kaiju and was sent to destroy Zat. She asks him to shoot her. He might be about to do it when the rest of Zat shows up, and I think Kotaro shoots the gun out of his hand or something. Kitajima asks Kotaro to do it instead. Kotaro hesitates, and in that hesitation, Marie turns into a giant kaiju. In the ensuing battle, Zat tries to avoid killing the kaiju and get knocked out of the sky. Kotaro turns into Taro and has some classic Ultraman problems with Marie's tail. Eventually, Taro manages to throw the Marie kaiju into space, and who knows where she's going. That's the final note on her, is she might be going back to the Dorzu Empire, she might be going to the edge of space, don't know. Kitajima throws the red shoe into a river and shoots it until it sinks. He sings the nursery rhyme to himself. Later, Kitajima assures Kotaro that leaving behind old memories is part of growing up. Kotaro jokes that he hopes he can get away without doing that part of growing up for as long as he can. The end. So this is that fake rhyme. This is that fake nursery story.
Yes, which I've in more detail is okay, I need to know the fucking history of this thing, and I have it if you need it at some point.
Wish I could find what the other nursery rhymes are for this batch of episodes, because
Could you know? No.
I couldn't either. I was like, I got no fucking clue. I'm sure these are cultural touchstones, but I could not track down what these were.
I'll ask around, and maybe for next week I'll have something. Because maybe one of my Ultraman friends would know. But I tried looking up, it just occurred. I didn't look deep, but I was just because I was kind of doing. I got a bunch of assignments right now, and I also did this all yesterday. I had to do ARC stuff too, so.
Something that's fun to me about this Red Shoes one is I have a sneaking suspicion that this episode is actually more integral to the debate around this nursery rhyme being bullshit or not.
Was it
maybe
because
Wikipedia lets on.
Was it because Bumpei I wrote this one?
Yes, but not only that, this episode airs in the same year where the half-sister of the girl it's allegedly based on came out and told a newspaper, hey, I think this is based on my half-sister. And I wonder if this episode spurred that a little bit.
That'd be cool. One of those things where it's we don't have the real story, but at least on our perspective, but.
I guess the TLDR on this nursery rhyme is that a guy wrote this one. He was working at a newspaper and he heard about one of his coworkers and the coworker and his wife used to be part of a socialist farming compound commune. And because of the harsh conditions of the farm work and stuff like that, they're we can't properly take care of our daughter. So they decided to they entrusted her to these two Americans like this American couple that was, I guess, around. And they're like, yeah, don't worry, we'll take care of her, and we're taking her back to America, kind of like adopting her. But then they didn't know this, but it was later found that when they were planning to finally go back to America, she had contracted tuberculosis. And at that time, there wasn't really too much they could do about that. And they're like, we can't really take you back to America. So they had to entrust her to an orphanage where she got, like, her condition just worsened and she died. And the family only ever really knew, like, oh, we had to give our daughter up to this American family because we didn't feel like we could properly caretake for her, sort of thing. And then the same year that this Ultraman episode comes out, the half-sister is like, hey, I think this is based on my sister. And then a reporter did the research to find out, oh, she actually died in that orphanage. She never even made it to America. And then the narrative kind of became this widely accepted thing of like, oh, the tragedy of this family turning to socialism and then giving up their child and then their child dying. And like also wrapped up in this is feelings of like, oh, you gave your Japanese child to these blue-eyed Americans. And, you know, it goes... There's a lot of different political things wrapped up in this. And then later, Shosuke Ai, also known under the pen name Bumpei Ai, gets hired to write a special for a local TV station about this poem. In my opinion, he was probably asked to write this, probably because he had written this episode of Ultraman. And he goes, I think this whole thing might be bullshit. And he came up with a book that basically looks at all of the inconsistencies of the narrative. And he goes, I actually don't think a lot of these people even were in the position to meet when they were allegedly supposed to have met. And it's probably true that some of this is true in broad strokes, but it's likely not. It probably didn't happen like this, and it's more of a metaphorical poem about maybe the disillusionment with like the socialist movement happening in Japan at the time, rather than being about an actual girl. And apparently the girl's family is very divided to this day about how much of the rhyme is supposed to be about this particular girl versus how much of it is just kind of inspired by the family overall and is broad strokes, you know, maybe talking
the
about
red
them.
shoes are socialism.
There's also a lot of people who are like, are the red shoes supposed to be about the Soviet Union? To which known asshole Koichi Sugiyama said the person making this claim is anti-Japanese and is misinterpreting this masterpiece of Japanese folk rhyme for political purposes. Like, there's a whole thing around this rhyme and how it's interpreted. And to be honest, like, people can't even really agree what it's about or what it's expressing in terms of, like, how much of this is about this little girl, how much of this is about the state of socialism in Japan at the time. It is still kind of a hot button issue. There are statues of the little girl around in various Japanese cities, and every time it is written about by a newspaper, they are very cagey about saying what the rhyme is about because they don't want to, you know, poke the bear.
Pick a side.
So it's funny. But yeah, that's the story of the Red Shoes nursery rhyme. Honestly, though, shoutouts to Bumpei Ai for being hired to do, like, what I can only assume is a slam dunk piece of, like, oh, just write this thing for our little, like, our fun little TV station, like, special thing. And as soon as he, like, starts to actually do research, he's just like, I think this whole thing is horseshit, actually. I respect it.
Uncovering the conspiracies.
So this episode, we get a Kitajima episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This has the coming so late is like this has the air of the Ueno episode. It's not quite quite the same thing.
I think Kitajima has been enough of a guy that it works.
Yeah,
it feels more like, in more ways than one. I think it feels a lot more like the late Endgame Kushida episode where he got a love interest with an alien.
Yeah,
I
was thinking of that one a lot.
It just
she was made of dynamite.
Yeah. Except, his...
Fellas, don't fall in love with women made of dynamite.
What if she's really cute, though?
Maybe if I drink my water, she'll be fine.
Yeah. Drink your damn water. So this is there's like I'm kind of mixed on this episode. I kind of like it, and I'm kind of unimpressed.
I think it's where I'm at. I think that's still kind of where I'm at. Like I like. There's a good which Kitajima is acting out of character, and all the characters pointed out, which is funny.
Yeah.
I do like that we get solidification of Kitajima as Kotaro's bro. Like that seems to be just like he of all everyone is that he does seem to be Kotaro's best friend.
I don't know if the relationship part of it, like, as in, like, the two of them coming back together, like, I don't really know if it sells me on
yeah,
that
I don't think the part's really great. And I also think, like, there's a degree to which, like, they do force the Zat team going, no, let her go.
I think it's really funny when the lieutenant shows them the graph that says that she's clearly a kaiju. She's a kaiju. These readings say that she's a kaiju, and Kitajima's like, I don't know if I'm looking at this fucking graph. Get this out of my face.
And then he's like, well, but usually you would look at this graph.
I said, no,
look at this
you're thinking
graph.
of a different. Look at this. I had look at this graph going through my head the whole time I was writing the summary. I think there's like the central drama here of like I think the bit that I like is when she's like, they all turn and be like, you know what, we will put our trust in people instead, and then she's like, fuck, I can't do this. That's the kind of bit that I like. I don't know about like the tragedy of the like. I don't have any emotional investment in this nursery story.
Yeah, I hate to say this because pun, but it does, the nursery rhyme element of it does feel kind of shoehorned in. As like, did we
Lol.
like they had a theme, and I'm just like, I don't know if this one. I think it would be better without the nursery rhyme element to it. Actually,
I respect them for trying because Taro. It feels like a thing to do. The execution maybe doesn't fit.
I will say this batch of episodes is the most where I'm just like feeling, I am a fucking white American guy watching this in 2025.
At least with this one, we had a context for what the nursery rhyme was beforehand, and the other ones, I'm just like not sure. Yeah. Like they name drop a guy in the next episode. I didn't look him up, which maybe I should have, but
yeah. So we know Bunpei Ai wrote this episode. Who directed?
The director for this episode was Masanori Kake.
Thank you. Mal.
Hello. Special X director is Nobuo Ujima, who I do not believe I had a bio for before. 1943, and by 3 I mean 9. He was studying chemistry at university and dropped out to join Shochiku, the film studio. He gained interest in special effects after watching John Ford's The Hurricane, and then worked under Keiji Kawakami, who was working at Shochiku at the time, would later to contribute to Ultraman as a special effects director. During his work on the French-Japanese collaboration film Typhoon Over Nagasaki, he met both Eiji Tsuburaya, who is currently on his Toho Exile, and Toru Narita. Eiji even invited Yujima to come work on Godzilla, but Shochiku was like, no. Yujima was like, well, I'm a Shochiku guy, so I'm not going to come over this time. Sorry. But in 59, he would be invited to Toei, which is where he would go. And apparently because Shochiku was downsizing in special effects department at the time, he also just brought some equipment with him. Don't know what the fuck this means, but apparently Shochiku's special effects was orthodox, while Toei's were fast-paced. And so we need an adjustment period. I'm like, well, sure. But he did contribute to Captain Ultra and Giant Robo in the mid-60s. Toru Narita invited him over to work on Mighty Jack, but he declined it to work more on Toho. on Toei stuff. Sorry. Too many toes in this. Oh wait, I don't like the sound of that. Anyway, invited by Tornado to work on Mighty Jack, but declined because he decided to keep his contract at Toei going. But in 71, he would go over to P Production to work on Spectre Man. And then after Spectre Man completed, he'd go over to Super where he would contribute more to special effects director of Mirror Man and Jump Arc Ace episodes. And after Jump Arc Ace finished, TBS producer Yoji Hashimoto invited him to work on Taro and Leo. I guess maybe Jump Arc Ace is ending around this time, maybe, question mark? He had another adjustment period because apparently his style of filming clashed with Super-I's in-house methods, which led to arguments on set, but the Super-I leadership ended up backing him up a bit, and he became acclimated. It seems that after Leo was done, he went back to Toei and worked on their transparently Star Wars-inspired movie Message from Space, as well as TV spin-off Galaxy Wars, both released in 1978. Then in the early 80s, with Battlefield J and Space Sheriff's Go On, apparently Toei began a policy of having the special effects department film early in the show's run, so they have a bulk of stock footage to draw from for the rest of the show. So most of the later episodes would be primarily on-set directors, though they still, give credit to special effects director to Ujima for future episodes. It seems for the 80s onwards, he's primarily involved with lots of Super Sentai, Metal Heroes, and Kamen Rider seasons, with his final credits being Police Robo J in person on TV, and Kamen Rider J, the movie, both in the 90s. I guess at this point he retired, and then in 2019 he died at the age of 91, of old age. Special effects style was based around the idea of special effects as drama, where effects were used to deliver the story and not just showcase the hero on screen. And so he's mindful of the script when doing the scenes. He seems to have maybe picked that up from his time at Shochiku, where he got some advice from cinematographer Shigeru Miki that the heart of the scene is the heart that makes the scene and not the camera when shooting or editing. It seems he passes on to his successor in Super Sentai, Hiroshi Batsuda, who says that Yojima taught him to sort of convey emotion of their mecha and treat it as an actor in a way, so the children can feel the pain and stuff. Because Byro was a guy. And yeah, that's Jijima. Both kaiju was designed by Yoshi Suzuki. The original design for Memorial apparently had more prominent breasts and antlers and stuff like that. It was like a pink feather boa. That's not what I'm... God, fucking, copy-paste is not working these days. Anyway, there you go. One thing that is kept in the original design, from the original design to the suit, is that, they do keep the red shoes on the kaiju, so that's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how noticeable it is in the episode, but yeah, it's there.
I don't think I noticed.
Yeah.
But
Kitajima, like there's something to how quickly Kitajima is like, well, I'm gonna shoot her.
Yeah. Well, they got 20 minutes.
Like the moment her kaiju skin is revealed, it's like the taint, the foreign taint is in her, and goes to shoot her immediately. Kotaro's hesitation is what causes the destruction, right, around the thing. It's like it would have been mercy to have killed her, and Kotaro failed to do that.
There's a viciousness to there's one shoe left over in the water at the end, and he just shoots at it.
Yeah.
Too. That's just oof. He's. There's some fury here.
Mm-hmm. Overall, I don't really have anything else about this episode because I don't, everything I know about this nursery rhyme I know from being the stories about Bunpei Ai being like, this sounds like bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notably, years after he made this episode. So.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else on this episode?
I'm happy he got the spotlight. I'm not sure how I feel about.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure how I feel about the episode overall, but I think Kitajima getting the episode, I think that this is at least a fun wrinkle to the character.
Yeah.
In a way that I'm I wish that maybe this show had a little bit more of that going on sometimes. I think this is the team I found the hardest to get super invested in of the show and stuff so far. But they're still fun.
I feel weird because I feel like for all of these shows, we have like a handful of not a handful. We have like a couple guys on each team who are like guys to us, and then a bunch of other people who are just there.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a while for them, if ever, to really warm up to us. Like
the thing with Taro is they kind of embrace that a little bit in a way that I quite enjoy. With like Nambara, Kitajima, and Ueno, who has fucked off forever. Ueno isn't in the show anymore. I don't know if anyone's noticed.
Oh yeah,
I have not.
I haven't.
Ueno hasn't been in the show for a while.
Ueno's been off the air for a while now. That's why I'm confused.
Ueno's been cancelled for years.
Oh, you know what? I just looked it up on the wiki.
Mm-hmm.
I found his last appearance.
Where was it? When was it? What episode was it?
Episode 35.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
35. Which one was that? Let's look. Oh, that's the one where Taro becomes a... I think, is that the one where Taro becomes a bomb and blows himself up to defeat the kaiju?
Alien Catan. This is the one with the car chase.
Yeah.
According to the Ultraman Wiki, Ueno's absence from the series after episode 35 was due to actor Akihiko Nishijima deciding to pursue a singing career, following the direction of his agency.
Oh.
Damn.
And he also had
You just can't keep actors on these shows.
He was also set to appear as a regular guest on the TBS program Ginza Now, which led to his departure from the series.
Huh.
Okay.
Well, he was mostly there to do acrobatics anyway.
I have a feeling like a lot of people, as soon as they see a better opportunity than I don't think that Ultraman in this period is something that people are like, I want to, unless they're like really in a leading role. I could see them not having the pull to be like, oh, please stay on, I
mean, you see it as well in Modern Kamen Rider, where there's a bunch of writers who are like, they're early on in the career, they become Kamen Riders as like leading actors, and then like sometimes they get too big to show up again later, or alternatively like they're happy they show up again, but their agency is like basically vetoes them. That was the thing with Gentaro's actor, where he was like famously like really hard to get back on because like he was
a big deal.
Well,
now.
He was a big deal, and like his
shot.
agency like blocked him. And the same thing happened with like Ryotaro, the protagonist of Deno as well. Like he just blew up.
I have a question, because I don't think the answer is this is what happened. What's the deal with Kamen Rider and the guy who played Kuga?
I mean, I think he's just he wasn't really a big Kamen Rider guy.
Okay.
And like he liked the role of doing Kuga, but he's not like part of it is he had a specific relationship with the staff of Kuga, and he's like, if I'm coming back, I want those guys working with me. And unfortunately, the guy who's like a big creative voice of Kuga was also the big creative voice of Hibiki, and
he's gone.
Yeah. And so that bridge is kind of burned, and I think he's also just like he wasn't necessarily. He's like he's
not. He doesn't really care that much.
He doesn't care that much.
Think about Kamen Rider often.
He doesn't care that much. He's not as invested in the character. Like he likes Godai, but like he doesn't feel the need.
He was an actor. He was an actor. He came. He did his job.
And he doesn't. He may also see it as a case of like, oh yeah, his story is done. I don't need to like come back and do that either. And like I think he also just felt like the hook with Kugo was like what made him interested in like doing the show. Like, oh, this is a specific approach that's different from previous Kamen Rider that makes it like interesting to me. And like he isn't necessarily as interested in like
I had seen some people talk about it like it was Christopher Eccleston levels of some shit happened.
There's definitely a lot of like fandom overload and some things. Like he does reiterate he didn't have a negative, like his opinion isn't as negative as some fans like to make it out to be. It's just like he doesn't have the stars aren't really aligning, and there's not really an interest on his part. Like he just feels like there's there's other things to do.
Fair play.
Other things to do.
Fair play. The Christopher Eccleston shit on Doctor Who is wild.
Actually, not familiar. But...
Christopher Eccleston, the one. Christopher Eccleston was the first Doctor in the reboot, and he only did one series, which is like 13 episodes.
Is the ninth Doctor?
He had Ninth Doctor. He did not stick around because it was a nightmare. Doing Doctor Who it might still be, obviously, but in that day it was a fucking nightmare, terrible conditions, and there's like numerous awful people working on it at the same time, and also Christopher Eccleston, big union guy, and so they had issues where shooting was going on way too long, and Christopher Eccleston would just walk off the set to ensure that the crew had a break.
Honestly, go on
because
him.
they're not going to. I'm the Doctor. They're not going to shoot. They're not going to keep shooting. They have to turn the cameras off. So yeah, it's just a lot of conflict on set, and it basically burned the bridge for good. And the fact that he is in any way active within Doctor Who at the minute is an act of true forgiveness on his part, but because it's not forgiveness, it's grace, but the whenever anyone raises the idea of him being more involved and coming back, and he's like, well, no, because I don't want to work with Russell T Davies ever again. In public, and people don't take it well sometimes. People think he's a grumpy old man, but no, it just
sometimes
shit
the
sucks.
job sucks.
Yeah,
sometimes a job fucking sucks, and people get attached to your character, and it's he was a great Doctor. That was a good season of Doctor Who. I did like it, but also it sounds like it was terrible to make.
It is just the unfortunate thing where everyone really likes Kuga, but they can only really bring back Kuga in the form of the replacement guy in Decade.
True.
Who's, still
I say true like I know.
He's still a fun character in his own way, but he's completely different from what Yusuke Godai is at all. Just a different guy.
Yeah. Well, we're clearly done talking about this episode. So do we want to talk about episode 46?
Yeah,
I think
46.
I think we should ride the comet to this next episode.
We should ride the comet to this next episode.
Yeah, say, oh no, I'm falling off.
Did you hear Hololive's VTuber, Hoshimachi Suisei, is going to be doing one of the songs for the new Gundam?
Yeah.
Yeah, just thought I'd mention that.
My relationship with VTubers is like this landlord's relationship with animals.
You poison them?
Why do you think Fauna retired?
You're sending. Oh no. Yeah, Fauna retired.
She's back as a dream-themed Baku.
Shush. There's a new VTuber has debuted recently. Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's gaming.
The dream-themed Baku nurse tapir.
Yeah, she's green.
I can't believe she's tied in promotion with the finale of Ultraman arc.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about that the whole time. I was like, holy shit, this is weird. What are the odds?
I can't believe Fauna became Swede.
Episode 46, from a Japanese nursery song. What's this one?
The White Rabbit is a bad guy.
No, it's not.
It's not. I really want to know what the fuck this nursery rhyme is.
Alien Piccolo, Prince of Piccolo, rides a comet for a quick visit to Earth and decides to spend his time watching over a boy and his rabbit.
It's worth noting that the comet is a guy and friends with him.
Yes, it is. An evil landlord wants the rabbit out of the building, and Piccolo uses his powers to make the... Yeah, Piccolo uses his powers to make the little rabbit disappear and generally thwart the evil, dastardly landlord.
Okay, I need to do this for the sake of our listeners. Piccolo, for context, is a big Pinocchio-esque
Yes.
doll thing, not a green Namekian warrior.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're lying to the listener. It's Piccolo. It's Piccolo. It's the Piccolo Junior. A magical rabbit calls for new tactics. The evil, dastardly, villainous landlord tells the boy's mother that pets are now allowed in the building and even gives her some rabbit food, which is poisoned. The rabbit eats the poisoned food and falls ill, which makes Piccolo feel sick too. He's like psychically connected with the rabbit. Piccolo can't believe that such an evil, dastardly, villainous bastard landlord could exist, and I do. But he decides to destroy humanity for the sake of the rabbit, and I'm like, okay, steady on. Piccolo turns big and starts wrecking Tokyo with a giant hammer and his lethal throwing hat. Meanwhile, Zat have been investigating the kaiju signals Piccolo has been giving off, but Piccolo can see through Kotoro's ruse, and he calls him out as Taro. And Kotaro denies he's Taro to Kitajima, and then runs around a corner, and then Taro appears, and Kitajima like, what could this mean? Anyway, the fight is on. Taro insists he won't give up on humanity just because of a few bad eggs, and he exhausts Piccolo until he gives in and then throws the prince back up into space to catch a return trip back home on that comet from earlier. The Zat members watch the comet go through a telescope, and the evil, dastardly, villainous bastard landlord turns nice and lets everyone in the building keep pets. He even likes dogs now. The end.
He still collects friend.
I love the little bit towards the end where, like, Piccolo's just slumped over, like, I'm done, I'm sorry, man. Like, he's just like, I'm too tired to move.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a really good conclusion to a fight. Piccolo being like, I'm going to destroy all humanity. Oh, Jesus Christ. You're good at it. Fuck.
Can you help me leave?
Taro's like, listen, I fight any monster every week.
This show is so good about giving kaiju, not only like giving kaiju personality and speaking roles, but also making them just the funniest little guys. Yeah. Actually, funniest big guys you might find.
Piccolo rules. I love this guy.
He's great. Yeah. He's great. I really, 10 out of 10 moment is Piccolo going, Taro, come out and fight me. And then like all the people who are running away in panic just stop for us. Is this guy Taro? This guy Taro? And Kotaro just looking embarrassed, like, nah, don't look at me.
No, not Taro. I think he's got the wrong guy.
Are you Taro?
I like the idea of the version of this episode where he points at Kotaro, everyone looks at Kotaro, and Kotaro like fake turns around to see if there's someone behind him.
It's really good. I think I just looked.
This episode is.
I just looked it up, and it seems like it's based on the story of the hair of Inaba.
Okay.
Now that's a name I know, but I don't know. Like I recognize that name, but I don't know the actual story.
Yeah.
The hair of Inaba can refer to two distinct Japanese myths. Okay.
It's specifically the one involving like there's a rabbit at sea who loses its skin or fur.
Okay. That doesn't seem like it has anything to do with this episode.
I only say that because it's like when the landlord has the dream, it like cuts to that, or it cuts it. It does like shots of it does a storyboard segment. It's a storybook moment where it like says, "Oh, hey, it's relating to that story," and so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll look into that like for next time.
There's a hilarious second paragraph to this Wikipedia page. The hair referred to in the legend is the Lepus brachyurus, or Japanese hare, possibly the subspecies found on the Oki Islands. The Japanese hare ranges between 43 centimeters and 54 centimeters. What are you doing? This is about a legend.
Did Otomo write this Wikipedia entry?
I gotta get down the specifications of Japanese hares. So yeah, this episode is mainly a vehicle for goofy shit. So
Yes.
it's a vehicle for two goofy guys. One of them is Piccolo, and one of them is this ridiculous landlord who wants to murder a little white
I
rabbit.
think
Yes.
Like so much.
I feel like I've seen this guy before.
He seems like the kind of guy who like plays like similar roles.
I
Yeah.
think he played like the shitty landlord in like the Taro gets beheaded episode 2.
It's
With
possible.
like the Buddhist statue that gets buried. Uncovered.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I know the one you mean. But yeah, this guy. Another main feature of this episode is me watching the episode and going, "Dude, stop throwing that rabbit!
Yeah. He keeps throwing
Why
it
are
up
you
in the
why
air.
are you throwing that fucking rabbit? Everyone is grabbing the rabbit by its throat and throwing it up in the air and shit." And I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah. This is the same team that threw a bird in the ocean and just picked up a horseshoe crab.
Now, I
Yeah.
was trying to pay attention, and I do think sometimes they cut it in a way where I'm not sure that they're actually throwing the rabbit. But also, this may be me hoping for that rather than this being the case. But
there's that one shot of that they do like straight up where the rabbit just like goes up into the sky
Yeah.
and is like thrashing around in the air in a way where I'm like, you genuinely threw that rabbit into the air.
yeah, that's true.
As out ridiculous. Obviously the standards of animal safety on sets in Japan in the 70s, not great. But yeah, this poor little rabbit, but at least there is someone in this rabbit's corner, Piccolo. Piccolo is here to save this rabbit, and he's doing lots of like tricks where he makes the rabbit disappear. He does it once to the landlord for a laugh, and then the boy who's who has the rabbit is like at home demanding that the rabbit do it again.
Okay, I found
At-
the actor.
Mhm.
His name is
You found the actor.
Akira Oizumi, and
Mhm.
his two roles I can see from Ultraman are, actually maybe two I found were, one, he's like the police officer in that episode where of Ace where Hokuto just lets a guy get run over by the kaiju.
Oh.
Wait, what?
And he also plays.
Is he a cop? Is he a cop from earlier in Taro, or is that someone else?
I think it's someone else, and he also plays the homeroom teacher in the Turtle episode of Ultra Q.
Oh my god, okay.
Oh hell yeah! What an episode!
Also, he's one of the guys in the Bone God Oxter. I think he's the Pith Helmet Professor guy.
Oh.
Oh, nice. Imagine wearing a pith helmet to walk around like the country you live in.
Yeah, internal colonialism.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, so yeah, Piccolo, like the boy like demanding that the rabbit do tricks, and Piccolo just sat up on the tower going like, all right. I was like, oh, I like Piccolo.
Yeah,
Piccolo's fun.
it's funny that he gets like spirit bonded with a rabbit accidentally, and so when the rabbit gets poisoned, he's like, oh no.
The rabbit does not die, listener. The rabbit is fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, it just handled it.
No rabbits were harmed in the making of this episode, except the one rabbit that was harmed in
Wait.
the making of this episode.
No,
Probably.
he was also the police officer in the episode where the dad gets eaten by the marsh frog kaiju.
I knew I was like, I think he's a cop from earlier in Taro. It's that cop. It's the episode where the kid goes for a really, really long piss.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that the piss episode? Yes.
Seems
That's a good episode.
It's funny that you can say the piss episode of Ultraman and you mean multiple episodes of Ultraman.
Yeah.
That is true.
It seems he's also in one of the Winter Horror Stories episodes of Ace as the beggar guy.
That could be fucking anyone.
He's in a bunch of these episodes as one off. That's fun. I will not be remembering him.
No. I quite like this episode.
Yeah.
Who made
Yeah.
It's good. It's fun.
This is really fun.
There's another platonic ideal Taro episode.
I'd say so.
Nursery rhyme completely incidental, but
It reminds me a lot of the New Year's episode.
Yeah. The New Year's episode, I think maybe I like a little more, even though it is also the most nationalist episode of Ultraman Taro. Who made this episode?
This episode was made by Masanori Kake is the director, and then written by Toshiro Ishido.
Okay. And Mal.
special effects director Nobuo Ujima. Piccolo was designed by Yoshi Suzuki. There was a different suit.
Good job.
There's a different suit for big and small Piccolo, and the small Piccolo.
I did notice.
The small Piccolo is suit actor as Kagafumi Yoshimura. Who I don't know if they have
Cool.
whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, I did notice. I think it was noticeable in the face. I think the small Piccolo is like much more rounded
Yeah.
on the face.
What a fun guy.
Cool.
What a fun,
30
What a
out of
fun
30.
guy.
This is a good show to.
I'm not a big fan of my landlord.
Let me speak to the landlord, Piccolo.
Do we have anything more to say about this episode? There's kind of like not much happening. It's just kind of fun.
Did you?
Yeah,
did
it's
you talk about?
just a fun one.
Did you talk about how he has a machine gun nose?
Oh, he has a machine gun. Yeah, he's got a nose with a big hole in it, and I was like, "What's coming out of that
I'm gonna
hole?"
be honest,
I was
think I
was
missed
sat there
this.
going like,
I may have
I was
zoned
sat there
out.
going like, "Oh, he's gonna have fire come out of his nose." And no, it was he's got a gun.
For once, we don't have fire breath.
For once, no fire. There will be more
Yeah.
fire breath later in the next episode.
Fire breath will continue until morale improves, or
Yeah,
we lose money.
exactly. Oh yeah.
Look forward to next season.
Lol. Oh, if Leo's bit is that it's just budget Ultraman, that'll be fun.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, I don't
3
have
months.
anything. I don't have anything more to add.
Nah.
Okay, in which case, we can talk about. Let me pull up my summaries again. Episode 47 from a Japanese nursery song. What's this one called?
Monster General.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. That's yep.
Huh?
Yep.
What does that have to do with the
I don't
lyrics
know.
that he sings? What? Okay.
No idea.
Featuring hibernation kaiju Geran, Taro fights deep in space where no one will ever know his heroics. He returns to Earth. Kotaro and Nanbara on patrol run across a boy atop a hill, holding a bamboo sword and singing a nursery rhyme to the sunset, and perhaps he's even crying. Kotaro recognizes this boy at Kenichi's school the next day. It's Ryuichi.
Another one.
And Kenichi, Kenichi denies he'd ever cry. Ryuichi is the coolest, smartest, most athletic kid at school. He beat the kendo instructor one day. So he's the kind of kid who cries alone, muses Kotaro. He's strong, like Taro. When a girl with an injured leg called Okai sees little baby kaiju emerging from their eggs, Ryuichi, gentleman that he is, murders them all with his bamboo sword. Kenichi turns up and is like, "Yo, don't kill baby kaiju. Don't you watch Ultraman?" There's a sudden earthquake and a kaiju emerges from the earth and attacks. The children all flee to the school and find themselves besieged, while Zat struggles to defeat the kaiju and rescue them. Ryuichi observes that this new kaiju must have just emerged from winter hibernation, and it'll still be sleepy. It'll need a nap soon. That's when we flee. Sure enough, the kaiju gets to snoozing, and Ryuichi, carrying the injured Okai on his back, leads the kids in an escape attempt. Unfortunately, Ryuichi and Okai knock a bucket over, and the kaiju wakes up. The kids retreat into the school once again. The kids Okai included, blame Ryuichi for fucking
Also
up big time.
Kenichi.
And he take... Kenichi also... Is Kenichi joining in on this?
Yes.
Damn,
She's
Kenichi.
very forceful about it.
The fuck, dude? They all blame Ryuichi for fucking up big time, and he takes their blame in silence. He runs off to do something. Kotaro, meanwhile, jumps from the condor onto a trampoline to get into the school for some reason. I don't really get it, but okay, dude, you do your thing. Ryuichi emerges from the gym, dressed for combat and wielding a real katana. He charges the kaiju and stabs it below the eye. He then plants the sword blade up in the ground so the kaiju steps on it. At this point, Kotaro turns into Taro and fights the kaiju. Taro also realizes that this kaiju must be one that hibernates in winter and rolls it over and over onto its remaining eggs and then hits it with a freeze spray. He takes the kaiju into space to hibernate for a long, long time. Back on Earth, everyone likes Ryuichi again, Okai included. He heads out to his hill and sings his song, but this time Zack joins him, and Kotaro says, "You're strong to cry alone, but doesn't it feel good to cry with others too?" Ryuichi laughs, and they all sing together. Ryuichi says goodbye and runs off. The lieutenant says, "What a stubborn child. No, a man." The end.
Oh, I got so many weird conflicting feelings
Yeah,
about what this episode is going for.
Oh, we once again have peaceful coexistence with the kaiju means making them move elsewhere.
True. Into space, where it will be like permanent hibernation. Yeah, we'll let you live, but like you have to sleep forever.
Yeah.
JoJo reserves that for its worst villains.
True. It's kind of crazy that Joseph Joestar kind of defeated God, and everyone else is just having to fuck around with guys.
He didn't have a stand then either.
No.
He just used martial arts.
He just had breathing.
He just had breathing and running away really smartly.
Yeah. Before we get into any of the content about what this episode is about, I just want to say when he comes out with the sword and he draws it over his head, and I was like, sick, dude. I was like, divorced from any like meaning. I'm just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should attack that kaiju with a sword. That's gonna be really cool.
It's pretty good. The like first person charge towards it is actually pretty sick too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with the sword in frame, because he's got it out ahead of him.
We forgot to mention that we get
shit.
POV shot from Piccolo's perspective last episode.
What's the POV shot from Piccolo's
I don't know
perspective?
if I picked that up.
There's a shot where we're getting Piccolo's POV as he starts wrecking shit.
Oh, we do. You know what? When they did that, they should have put his huge schnoz in the way.
Yeah. I also like the sunrise in the episode, but anyway, back to this episode.
So this episode's about a boy who is like, he's number one. He's simply too cool. And he holds a secret struggle, which is that he can't show weakness in front of everyone. He's too cool for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Kotaro sees feels some kinship with him over this. He's like, I can't, not everyone can know my pain, because it's a secret pain. I think I mostly just like this about this episode.
Same.
Yeah.
I think this depiction of this kid kind of being like, this is not, like kind of, when he's taking all the blame from everyone and it makes him do something like really fucking stupid. I was like, yeah, that's how kids work. That's true.
Yeah. I do feel weird about like how the blame is distributed.
Same. That's the part I'm struggling with this, where I mostly like it. I think the scene with the kids I feel a little weird about, but also I feel like I could talk through it and probably be all right with it.
it does come off. It mixes in that thing that Ultraman sometimes does, where it's like, the public doubts Taro, the public doubts the Ultraman, and that's like the public's. It's like lack of faith in God type shit.
Yeah.
And because Ryuichi is like being compared with Ultraman and his role in the story, it comes off as, you know, oh, when times are easy, when times are good, it's easy to like Ryuichi. But when times are hard, they'll turn on you, like animals, and it's like, this is like a bizarre, it's like a particular worldview that I do not subscribe to. But it makes for like a fun character in Ryuichi. I think this is one of the better kids. We get like this is a new kid. We haven't had this kind of kid before, I don't think.
The tiny mirror of the Ultraman kid, which is a good kid to have. I think honestly where a lot of the classroom scene, I'm kind of like, but I think my real beef with it, I think actually is what that feeds into, which is whenever these shows talk about what a real man is, I'm like, okay, what are we going for? I think that this maybe feeds into the masculine ideal of putting yourself in harm's way even when you don't need to because it's the right thing to do. And him getting kind of pressured into that, I'm not a big fan of. But hey, it's totally okay to let other people share in on your burden and let them know that like you just need a good cry. I love that shit. But I think that the way that the charge into again also too, I think the charge is actually really cool as fuck. But the way that he's rewarded from the framing of the action, it gives me some pause. But also, the fact it like works is like crazy.
Yeah.
I think that is more of a beef with the times than it is the show. I think any other show shows today would still probably, I think in a lot of ways, still fall into this.
It's just that in a show from like this particular era is like it's funny how honest it is about things that you'd have to uncover from other shows.
Yeah,
like that get made today, where it's like, you know, we're trying our best but fucking up. This is like, no, this is a man.
Yeah,
this is what it means to be a man.
Yeah,
the ideology is laid bare.
It feels weird when it's like the blame. He has this plan to sneak away, and then the girl he likes, who has an injury, is complaining about to go faster, and then this causes him to trip, and then he gets blamed by everyone for it. And I'm like, there's weirdness here in like
he's betrayed by weak woman.
Yeah, that's part of it. Like, yeah, it just feels weird, like having that.
I think this is, I guess, going back, like, I think this also happens to hit me at a point where I feel like I'm thinking about this sort of thing a lot, because I'll keep it vague, but as I'm continuing my Muv-Love journey, I do think a big thematic thing in that series has been, like, maybe exploring a little bit the masculine urge to be the big protector that puts yourself in harm's way, and it's like, okay, but what about that appeals to men and why? And I was definitely thinking about that a lot when this kid does that, where it's like, I think that maybe there's a better way to handle this a little bit, and I think this is giving into some urges that men have that we need to relitigate a little bit.
This episode is like definitely peak. Taro is just like, you know, the ongoing theme with Taro in relation to Ace is like Ace tried for something and everything went wrong, and so like, well, we're never trying ever again. And so they're not bothering this time. This is a show for boys about how you're gonna grow up to be men one day. This is what it means to be a man.
Yeah. And sometimes the show falls into that in the dudes rock way that I'm like, okay, it's kind of nice. And sometimes it falls into this where I'm like,
Can you name a dudes rock moment from Ultraman Taro?
Ah, shit. Now that you put me on the spot.
Here's the thing about the dudes rock moments from Ultraman Taro.
Do you know what the dudes rock moment is in this episode?
Is it the 3-person bicycle?
No. Give me a second.
I think mine is actually the 2-parter with the 6 Ultra Brothers, where they show up.
Okay.
They all have the little picnic, and
This is a dudes rock moment from this episode. One of the funniest things I've seen in my life.
Okay, let me see this. Oh, the trampoline.
Yes. Yeah.
And then his screaming getting cut off.
It's so good. He's like telling Nunborough, I'm gonna jump on that trampoline. And Nunborough's like, are you fucking stupid? And he's like, yes. I don't know what that did or how it works. I don't know what benefit he got from doing that.
I did quick research as well, and I think it seems like there's like a children's game / nursery rhyme with the same name, which maybe they're tied together because some children's games have a rhyme song associated with them, called General of the Mountain, which perhaps understandably gets translated as King of the Hill.
Yes, there was yes. This was an episode where he was singing about King of the Hill.
That boy ain't right.
He is not.
I know her shoes are red, but I don't know if that really means anything.
I don't know what a kaiju is. I can't fucking do a Texas accent, jeez.
I'm not going to embarrass everyone by trying.
I think it'd just be harder for you as a British person.
Well, that's why.
I know, but we do need to establish the facts.
Yeah. Did you know, dear listener, I'm British? I sometimes go. I've been talking about this. I do like different British voice when I'm not recording. It's weird.
Wait, what?
I don't.
Is it more British?
I don't know. It depends on the situation. It depends who I'm talking to.
I have another British friend.
I go northern around my family sometimes.
I mean, that's just code switching.
Yeah, it's like but it's like they're not from the north. I'm not. It's not like a fake northern accent, but also I'm from the Midlands.
I guess it is different then because I am extremely Midwestern, but I do feel like I did notice.
Do you ever slip into New York?
No,
I don't know.
No. But I did notice when I was spending time with around the holidays with people or whatever. I'm like, I feel like I let out the oh yeah a little bit more when I'm around the people I grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably more British off this podcast. I'll tell you now. I don't think I've done an unironic in it since that first episode of Ultra Q when I edited and I noticed and I was like, not doing that again. That's not happening again.
I think I just suck by myself, but I also don't know how that sounds to people.
No idea. Speaking of things that are British, okay, right, now that I've said that, I have to find a route back into the episode. Japan is like Britain.
In many ways.
It's a real sister country. And this is a show set in Japan, and we're talking about this episode. So speaking of Britain, who made this episode?
Nice. This episode was directed by the one and only Eizo Yamagiwa. And then
Cult Man, sorry.
True. Recently deceased Cult Man. And then written by
R.I.P.
Bunpei
Special effects director is Jun Oki. That's just Oji's guy. Kaiju of the episode, Gorgosaurus. Maybe you remember it, probably don't. From Mirror Man.
Okay, I was curious because the booklet says Gorgosaurus the second, and I was like, did we have the first?
Yeah, for a reason, they just got this guy back from Mirror Man. He showed up twice in Mirror Man. First was in the episode 29, which is where the Jumbo Phoenix gets stuck in the volcano. And 36, where he's one of the returning kaiju who was involved in the plan to launch Mirror Man to the sun.
They were launching Mirror Man to the sun, and his friend turned up to save him.
Although this is, once again, as you might... It seems to be a case of a lot of recurring kaiju. This is a stage show themed... this is a stage show suit.
The Mirror Man was getting launched into the sun, and then it turned out that they needed him back, and so the guys from Gundam Wing went to go get him.
Yeah.
Light reflection played.
Yeah, Wu-Fei joined the Invaders for some reason. We don't really know why, but...
They had a wild uniform. Man, the Invaders were so cool.
Wu-Fei was a big fan of Ultraman Ace's second half.
Lol. God, he was.
She's safer on the moon, you don't understand.
He's like, oh, you got her out of your life? Good. Men going their own way.
I fucking hate Wu-Fei so much.
So, we kind of covered this episode.
Second kaiju. Galen.
Yes.
Yoshio Suzuki. They made the suit, obviously, but they also made a separate puppet for the head prop for close-ups. And they also made, a separate model for the Frozen one. Which, probably makes sense.
I like this kaiju.
Yeah. It reminds me of
kaiju.
a weird fucking... It reminds me of Gigan from Godzilla, which I'm looking forward to eventually getting to when we do our Godzilla watches, but... You've seen Gigan, right? Red?
I don't know.
Let me get it. He's a wild ass guy.
I think I'm indifferent to this one. A lot of the Mirror Man designs in general did not leave a big impression on me, and I kind of feel the same. I think it's cool when it bursts out of the ground.
That one isn't a Mirror Man one.
Oh, sorry, no.
It's the earlier the
one on the
little
moon.
baby.
Oh yeah, the baby.
The
Yeah,
one on the moon.
The baby one's good.
The one on the moon is the.
Sorry, I thought we were still on Gorgosaurus.
No,
too,
no.
No, you moved on.
Yeah, Galen is. Yeah, obviously
This one's got Cylon Eye.
Yeah. Gigan is cool.
AKA Mono Eye.
Yeah. Yeah, Gigan is.
I quite like. Yeah, this is fun kaiju.
Gigan's just cool. I'm looking forward to getting to it when we eventually get to that era of.
How does it hold things?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Oh, there's a cool design. I think this is a design from Final Wars.
Imagine Gigon trying to fold bed sheets.
Damn, it's got that Scyther problem.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, a fucking minute. This is just where Scyther comes from.
You know what? Probably.
Yeah. Huh.
Gigan has an entry page on the Pure Evil wiki.
It's got a front spine.
I didn't know there was a Pure Evil wiki.
Me either. That's why I brought it up.
Wait, hold on.
I'm going to the Pure
yeah,
Evil
I'm
wiki.
going to the Pure Evil wiki. Okay. Search UP. Oh, fucking cowards. Okay. I know what I'm doing after this podcast is done.
Okay, movie Pure Evils. Pure Evils from movies. Cartoon Pure Evils. Pure Evils from cartoons.
I love Scar, Disney, Sentinel Prime, Transformers 1, Femto.
Is there a random button? This is fun. Anyway, I'm navigating away from the Pure Evil wiki.
Yeah.
Playing a lawful good paladin in Baldur's Gate voice. I'm navigating away from the Pure Evil wiki.
Nice.
That's what Gary would have wanted.
Don't say
Speaking
that.
of people who should be
Don't
at the pure
fucking-
evil
don't.
wiki.
Don't say that about anything I do. Please, God. Jesus Christ. I'm not ready for that. Wow. Anyway. This when are we still talking about this episode? What are we doing?
I think we're
I don't know,
closing
but
out.
I will say I like this one overall.
Yeah.
There's some things here that I'm just kind of like, but I think also it's, again, falling into cultural things that I think you're just going to get from a show from the 70s discussing masculinity in children's entertainment. So,
Yep.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Boy, become a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm assuming the nursery rhyme game thing is to do with him being the top dog.
Probably.
You know, I get
He
this
does
one.
just,
I understand this
He does
one.
just own his teacher.
He's like practicing kendo on his own. He's like, aren't you going to practice with anyone else? He's like, well, that wouldn't be practice. And his teacher's like, I'm going to fucking show you. And then he doesn't. The kid fucking owns him. He's like, disarms him. Doesn't bother wearing a helmet. Disarms him.
Credit
and
where
is
you
like,
do. I thought he had overconfidence, but I guess he just had regular confidence.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
It's that fine line. All right. Well, we might be done talking about Ultraman this week.
I think so.
Yeah.
In which case, Mel, do you have some color timers for us?
Yeah. We got episode 45, 3 minutes, 36 seconds. Episode 46, 4 minutes, 41 seconds. Episode 47, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. And then 2 minutes, 22 seconds.
Nice. Do we have any emails?
No. We just across straight up.
No emails this week.
And I'll also just say I did do the write-up for the Super R run back, but I'm going to say that for next week for various, time-related reasons that I foresaw going into this week. I was like...
It's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm going to go eat.
Yeah, I was just like...
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this is long, and we're doing arc. I'm not doing this week.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, in which case... if you want to follow us online, you can do so at ultra_Q. That is at ultra_QUEUE on Twitter. On Blue Sky, we are at ultraQUEUE. Mel.
Yeah, you can follow me at Dear Crowns on Twitter and Blue Sky. We got an email, ultraQpod@gmail.com. We got Taro ending in 2 weeks, I guess, after this.
Not long.
Yep.
I gotta work on this order.
Six more episodes.
So yeah.
Oh, right,
Prepare those emails. And yeah. The coffee is Ulti Fund, Brad.
Yeah, I'm everywhere at Be Invoked. Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube. I'm not going to be here. Blue Sky. I was hoping no one would pick up I said that. That's fine.
Yeah, hope away.
Blue Scribe,
Yeah.
the method anime.
I'm not going to be here next week. Literally the day you are listening to this, if you're listening to this when it comes out, I am in Illinois at Frosty Faustein's first tournament of the year, having a good time. So I'll be back for the finale.
As usual. Well, we would
right.
post for one finale if we weren't. So
Yeah.
the one rule we have to stick to.
Yeah, finale and presumably first episodes.
I don't think any of us should have been there for the Ace finale, honestly.
Oh, we had to do our jobs.
Just 2 hours of blank audio.
The finale was we all turned our microphones on and left the room.
Much like Yuko.
Here's the thing. I had a lot to fucking say about the Ace finale.
No, that's true.
About Ultraman Ace.
An episode is just us with baseball bats beating the shit out of that fucking show.
Oh man. Anyway, next week, 3 more episodes of Ultraman Taro. Join us then.
The penultimate.
Goodbye. Yeah, the penultimate episode of Ultraman Taro.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Later. Us happy second anniversary. Woo.